It's still showing that same picture. So weird.
If you click camera, is it,
This is what we did. Put down here. That looks good. Well, then let's show up in that window.
Street, we're working on the guy. Zoomed in, quite in.
Zoomed into just this.
Plus I was by
Sure,
myself
it's
last week, but we did actually meet the guy on site. So, this guy, stuff
Everything's
got
silent.
going. Yeah, there was a lot. Well, you know, they all use excuses. I called him, I said, you got a year, no more excuses. Insurance was done a year. We're just roll with it. The audio. Well, I'm gonna put it in my wrong, it's there. Anybody not quiet?
All right. We'll call to order the Ravenna City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 6th at 6:04 PM. The first item on the agenda is a moment of meditation and silence. And would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. And Chelsea, would you call the roll?
Mr. Kelsey?
Here.
Ms. Wood?
Here.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Cares?
Here.
Ms. Wood?
Here.
Mr. Harper?
Here.
All right, and we have, next item on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes from the regular city council meeting of August 1st, the special city council meeting of August 8th, and the special city council meeting of August 22nd. Were there any additions or corrections to any of those? Do we have a motion to accept as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We had 3 pieces of communication, which are outlined in the agenda and should be in your packets below. Are there any questions on any of those?
The one about the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, is that one, hold on. Was that for someone new or is it just renewing?
That's just stating that they're going to expire, all the permits.
All of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Just double checking.
Yep. All right. And then we have at least one delegation from the public, so Harrison, I can turn it over to you at this time.
Hi, Council. It's just me, Harrison Hughes, here again on behalf of Main Street. And I wanted to take the opportunity tonight to give you all a little more overview on what we've been working on within 2022. And so here are just a few things with our efforts and accomplishments this past year. At the start of 22, our board members created a 3-year strategic plan and updated our policies and procedures to improve our operations and increase downtown revitalization assistance. Our Business Vitality Committee has launched a business survey to help determine the needs of our businesses emerging from the pandemic, and groundwork has begun to develop a plan to provide opportunities for business assistance. We recruited new board members, committee members, and volunteers for our events this year, and an estimated $38,850 of donated value of volunteer time and intangibles has emerged so far. Per the City Council's recommendation, through the efforts of executive board members, we have reestablished positive working relationships with multiple nonprofit organizations and community stakeholders. For example, the Chamber of Commerce, we hold monthly luncheons in downtown businesses, joint efforts on projects, calendar sharing, project support, and participation. This month, we will be jointly meeting at Main Street Winery for an evening mixer on September 14th. The Community Action Council we are also working with. They've been helpful with grant writing, and we also have a Main Street representative for the board on their board of directors. Within our Ravenna Township, we have the Township Park that is directly across from our office. We are currently working with them to assist in park We are also working with the city's Economic Development Department. Previously, I worked with Mike Kowski when he was on board, and now I'm going to continue that process with Dennis West to grow our downtown business inventory. We are also a part of Rotary with membership and engagement, and we've participated in Raven Packs. Recently, Main Street Ravenna helped pursue DORA consideration and work with the city on establishment of our DORA. We will continue to handle all the DORA logistics, so if any of you were there on Saturday, we were able to see that at the winery itself, they provided about 300 DORA cups that are out in the community. So we've already had our reorder form out and ready, so we're hopeful to get that back up on the ground when they have Luna Fair and our October concert as well. So additionally, the Main Street Board submitted a revolving loan fund grant to the committee, to the county commissioners through ARPA funds. We're hopeful that this fund will be granted to assist downtown businesses and our landlords with rent, utilities, signage, facade improvements, and inside improvements. We're also working to explore other grant funding as available. We've worked collaboratively with the Ravenna School District and Reed Memorial Library on our 2022 Winter Writing Festival efforts and awards, and we are currently working on 2023 Winter Writing Festival Concert and Festival for in-person in February 23. We're working with the Ravenna School District to collaborate and engagement for students with businesses in the downtown, and we are in process with the 22-23 Ravenna High School Civics class to add to our Main Street Mile, historical QR codes downtown, and a Main Street Ravenna luncheon to learn about civics through Ravenna. We are speaking at a nonprofit studies cohort of Kent State University for the 22-23 school year on behalf of Main Street Ravenna, and we are currently working with our Heritage Ohio. If you aren't familiar, Heritage Ohio is our parent organization. So there's Main Street America, and then Heritage Ohio through the state, and Main Street Ravenna underneath them. So we are working with them, and they've helped to facilitate and provide additional funds for Riddle Block 9. This year, they've provided $85,000 for them for their revitalization process. And we are working for promotion of Ravenna and Riddle Block 9 through filming interviews with Riddle Block owners and Main Street Ravenna representatives, as well as we are also providing Heritage Ohio with information related to various Riddle Blocks throughout our town and for a feature for the Heritage Ohio Quarterly magazine. Ravenna's revitalization efforts will also be highlighted at the annual Heritage Ohio Conference in Toledo, October 3rd through the 5th. Main Street Ravenna has attended several Heritage Ohio webinars and in-person conferences and networking opportunities to continue to learn and grow our organization, and with that, downtown contribution. We will be attending training in Vermilion and Delaware, Ohio in September, and the annual conference in October. Main Street Ravenna continues to host a marketing presence of Ravenna and Main Street Ravenna in various magazines and social media, and we hope to be ordering Ravenna-specific merchandise to grow the marketing of Ravenna beyond our town. We have hosted Art on Main and Raven Wings and Barbecue Things events, both small but successful. Most recently, our Raven Wings and Barbecue Things sold out all but one food vendor. Main Street Ravenna has also attended multiple ribbon cuttings, including The Haven, Gypsy Soul, Children's Advantage, and most recently, our Dora. Also recently, our Main Street Mile was nominated for a Celebrate Portage Community Improvement Award. We have also assisted with a downtown cleanup, and we had held that in the spring, and it was successful. And we hope to also hold a fall downtown cleanup as well around October 9th. Cigarette containers have been added around Main Street Courthouse to help to continue to clean up our town as well. Main Street Ravenna has also been able to speak with downtown revitalization efforts to Rotary, Kiwanis, CIC, City Council, and Heritage Ohio. We've met with members of City Council, Mayor, and other nonprofits and stakeholders regularly, and are attempting daily drop-ins of downtown businesses and making sure to reach all downtown and affiliated businesses each month. We have moved forward with mural projects. Most recently, the Capture Life Photography, or Buckeye Mall, right behind Vance's Creamery, is the newest mural downtown on Locust Lane. And we are also working to implement a mural on the side of Megan's and one of Jack Cole's buildings. We have also assisted Ben Mancino with downtown flower baskets. And we have established monthly Main Street Ravenna mixers to engage with the community and get feedback and provide more information about Main Street. And Main Street, and we're hopeful for future engagement in this process. We will be hosting a donor drive starting this month, and we'll also be running additional fundraising efforts throughout the end of the year and start of next year. We will be also rolling out the Ravenna card, known as the Yifty card or community card, which is a community gift card, and we will be having 5-week training and compatibility for full implementation around the holidays. Essentially, through this, the community gift card will be able to be utilized at any participating Ravenna business. We will be sending out biannual and quarterly newsletters to all of our stakeholders. Within our Main Street Mile, our markers have been installed, and we are working on permanent QR codes for historical information. Lastly, we have just launched our MSR Youth Community Star Project, designated to highlight the children, teens, and tweens in Ravenna who engage in community service. Additionally, Main Street Ravenna will be providing a robust schedule for 2023. Events are planned with the intention of bringing people to our downtown, which will lead to more foot traffic in downtown businesses and highlight our beautiful community. In September through December, we'll be doing our annual donor drive and reaccreditation process. Now through February of 2023, we'll be working on our runner writing contest and hosting our festival in February. In January 2023, we will be hosting a Super Saturday fundraiser. In spring, a golf outing, a spring cleanup, and Raven's Nest Fest Earth Day Festival. Summer, we will be hosting Art on Main, a Main Street Mile 5K, a potential wax and wine with the APL event, and Raven Swings and Barbecue Things. In the fall, we will be hosting what we call a Mystery on Main event, which will be a mystery within our downtown businesses. Fall cleanup and Street to Street, which is a Main Street Ravenna and Main Street collaboration. We are also looking to have collaborative events with the chambers, such as Pet Around Ravenna and an adult Halloween club. Lastly, we also have the potential to host a Main Street exclusive unveiling of Brittle Block sign completion, as well as host Heritage Ohio's Main Street members in Ravenna in 2023. Thank you again for providing me with an opportunity to update you with all of what is ongoing within our organization. Within the coming months, we will be back once more to discuss our future budget planning in hopes of continuing to collaborate effectively for the downtown of Ravenna. I appreciate your time this evening. If you have any questions.
Thanks, Harrison. Appreciate the detailed information. Lots going on. So, Mr. Calfee, we're going to sign up for the 5K next year. You've been out training on the bike, so it's exciting. Lots of things happening. Any questions from council?
I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to communicate with us.
All right. Is there anyone else that would like to speak from, yeah?
And you might want to write this down because you'll probably never see this again, but, so I bring you greetings on behalf of the Record Courier News Guild, because we have a lot going on in not only our guild, but also the News Guild in general and the Gannett Caucus. So, the email went out in early August that Gannett was planning to do some layoffs throughout our country, in our newspapers throughout our country. They didn't really say where or when. So we planned a local news lunch out. And so on August 11th, my coworker Derek Kreider and I were out here on this courthouse lawn, and we joined in Zoom with our Gannett colleagues across the country. It was a beautiful exercise of solidarity. We shared our stories. The hashtag Local News Lunch Out was #3 on Twitter. It got picked up by Pointer, and we were united against these layoffs. I was encouraged that we had status quo protection and that we would probably end these layoffs unscathed. The layoffs began the very next day. I shouted into the Twitterverse because I was one of the team of News Guild volunteers that started tracking these layoffs. And went into the weekend thinking that I was right, none of us had lost our jobs, things things were pretty okay, nobody in Akron had lost their jobs, we would be okay. What I didn't know is that they weren't over yet. So on Monday morning, we lost our managing editor. She was the last editor on the news side of the Record Courier. I had worked with Heather for most of my time at the Record Courier. She joined the Record Courier about a year after I did, and we were editors together at one time. This is probably the first I've been able to talk about this out loud without crying. We are livid, to say the least, in our newsroom. We are still grieving this loss. And we are united against these layoffs as a caucus. We are planning an alternate town hall. And this is one that we want to invite the communities to, the communities that were affected by these layoffs. And so while we haven't set a date for this town hall, we're looking at late August or late September, maybe October, because a couple of us are trying to convince these people that if we want elected officials to attend, we're gonna have to give you guys some lead time, because we know everybody is very busy. A couple of units are talking about actually scheduling an in-person component, because it would be on Zoom. But we're gonna see if we can work that out logistically. Maybe put the Zoom screen up on, your screens here, if we could do that. Heather, of course, is a member of this community. She's the wife of a former member of this council. I believe you guys deserve answers just like we deserve answers. And any questions that are asked at this town hall will be taken back to Gannett executives. They did have an Ask Us Anything session last week in response to our outcry that they didn't take any questions at their town hall. So they are listening to some extent. When we complain that they don't give us a chance to ask questions, they do listen to some extent. So, but we want to make this a big event. We want everybody to be able to speak out, because the impact of these layoffs is a lot bigger than we thought. We tracked about 100 just anecdotally through people we know. We found out last week that there were actually 400 positions eliminated. And that's in addition to 400 vacancies not filled. So, and even before this, the News Guild had estimated that there are half the number of working journalists in this country than there were a decade ago. So, this is obviously a very serious issue for democracy, for local news. There's 6 of us at the Record Courier, and we do still enjoy status quo protection. And we will continue to fight the good fight. A lot of people have asked where they take a story to. Since we no longer have editors here locally, we report to editors in Akron. The answer to that question is you take them to me, you take them to Jeff, you take them to Derek, you take them to our sports reporters. You just deal with us directly. So, we are now your point of contact. So, I just wanted to let you know that, and when a date is set for the town hall, you will be the first to know.
Thanks, Diane.
Thank you. Sorry you were going through all that. I commend all you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. Are there any other delegations from the public? I appreciate the coverage on local news. We had the idea stream reach out about the DORA. They're supposed to do more locally. Portagers reached out, and even you. I appreciate the focus and highlighting what we're doing here, whether we agree or not. It's just, reaching our constituents as well is getting harder and harder. It's another reason for the streaming, but if you look, we've got 7 people who might end up watching some of these streams, so we're still not reaching the people. So I feel like you play a crucial role in that, and I appreciate all of that. So keep us posted. I will definitely be there to support you and the union. So, anyone else that would like to speak this evening? You all received your report of officials. Were there any questions on that? I think the big highlight there on the fire side was there was an interview for civil service test, I believe, for the chief's position. It says 3 were interviewed, but 2, I believe, were there. So, were there any questions on the report of officials? Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Committee meetings will be September 12th, starting with utilities. Mr. Moskin?
There was nothing on the agenda today.
All right. Information systems, Ms. West?
I don't believe I'll have anything for the meeting.
Planning, Mr. Karras?
We have one item on our agenda tonight, and we will need a meeting next Monday.
Thank you. Committee of the Whole will be Monday, September 19th at 6 p.m. Public Health and Safety, Ms. Michael?
Yes, I have a couple items on tonight's agenda. I will already have a couple items for the next meeting. Mr. Harper agreed to run that for me since I will not be here. I will be out of town. But the items I have are important and they can't wait. So there's going to need time to have discussion on them, so.
All right. Streets and sidewalks, Mr. Harper?
One item for consideration this evening, and I believe we will be having a meeting.
All right. And personnel, Mr. Calfee?
Yes, we will have a committee meeting next Monday.
Community and Economic Development, Ms. Wood?
That is to yet be determined.
All right. I did see a quick little plug too on the website, which you've been talking about in the past. So kudos to Dennis West, if I could plug that real quick, on the commercial real estate that's available. That is available on the website now, so there's a page that's on there.
That's great.
Any updates on the cemetery?
I'll say things actually look good financially. We are, I'll say, above average financially. And at the present time, Mark Gabriel will be contacting Lumberjack sometime in the near future about some trees that they need to be taken out because of their condition. That way to prevent them possibly from falling during a high wind or whatever later on.
And in conjunction with that, we are looking at planting 10 this fall. So we plant some, we lose some, so we're trying to keep status quo. So.
We're going.
Yeah.
I think you're
All right.
working with the city too on the purchase of those.
Yes, we've been able to work with the Shade Tree Commission to lower the cost of the purchase of the trees
So that's
last year and this year. So.
Will they be larger trees then,
Yeah, they'll be a
Still.
little bit larger than
the seedlings?
just a little seedling or
Yeah.
sapling, yeah.
Great. Any updates on Parks and Rec, Mr. Calfee?
Yes, we continue to expand our program offerings, and we have a new program that is beginning, and it's a gymnastics and tumbling program for kids, but this is for kids from 1 to 10-year-old. So it's a new offering, and we have hopes that we'll be able to fill up that class.
I feel like I should plug softball too, because we're in the throes of that for fall ball, and it's been fun. So we were rained out tonight, but back at it this Sunday, so.
It's good to see all the programs back.
Yes, yeah, especially fall ball. I don't know the last time they had it for softball, so it's kind of fun out there. All right, we'll move on to first reading of ordinances then, beginning with ordinance number 2022-83.
An ordinance accepting a donation to the Ravenna Fire Department in the sum of $1,000 from the Swage Law Company, recording estimated revenues in the sum of $1,000, and appropriating the sum of $1,000 and declaring an emergency.
And sponsored by Public Health and Safety, Ms. Michael.
This is a generous donation that Swagelog does to our safety forces. There is no match required. We are very grateful that they do this, and I don't see any reason why we should accept it.
Any questions? Do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And do we have a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And then a motion to pass the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
All right, that ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2022-84.
An ordinance accepting a donation to the Ravenna Police Department in the sum of $1,000 from the Swage Law Company, recording estimated revenues in the sum of $1,000 and appropriating the sum of $1,000 and declaring an emergency.
Also sponsored by Public Health and Safety, Ms. Michael.
This goes right along with the previous ordinance. It's a generous donation that Swagelog does. There is no match required, and this one is for the police department.
Any questions on this item? Do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So moved. Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And then a motion to pass the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
All right, that ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2022-85.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with JD Services for the painting of pavement markings and striping and declaring an emergency.
And this is sponsored by Streets and Sidewalks. Mr. Harper,
Yep, this is our annual program. Really nothing else to add.
any questions on this item? All right, do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
And a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And then a motion to pass the ordinance.
So moved. Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
All right, that ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2022-86.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with T. Manfres and Associates Architects LLC of Ravenna to develop the program of requirements and conceptual planning and appropriate $23,900 from the general fund and declaring an emergency.
Sponsored by Planning, Mr. Karas.
So having purchased land that used to belong to the old high school, the next step is engaging with the architect to come up with a conceptual plan. The $23,900 is to do that work. It's spelled out in this contract. Assuming it gets passed through a bond issue to continue the work, the document we have specifies that there could be additional costs later on. But for now, we're just engaging with the architect for that conceptual planning process and allocating $23,900.
Any questions or updates on this item? All right, do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael? Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael? Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
And a motion to pass the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael? Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
All right, that ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2022-87.
An ordinance accepting a proposal provided by Love Insurance Agency, a copy of which is attached hereto and marked Exhibit A for the renewal of insurance coverage for the period of September 14th, 2022 through September 14th, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
And I can throw it to you, Brian.
Yes, we talked about this one at committee. As expected, the cost did go up a little bit. It was almost 9%. And that was because the coverage values on the buildings and machinery has gone up, so they're insuring more, so they have to charge us more. So it's in line. And if you really look at the details of it, you'll see, like, if you look at the property values insured, it's over 51 million now. If you look at last year's, they only insured up 47.6 million. So you'll see that we're paying more, but they're also insuring more for disasters or whatever may happen.
What about the deductibles? Any of those change?
I don't believe any of the deductibles change as far as I know. I think we're keeping those the same right now.
And this is the same company that we were insured with last year?
Yes, we're still using Love Insurance, and they actually bid it out to market. And then-
Tokyo Marine HCC.
Yes, Tokyo Marine is the same one we're using, yes.
Okay.
So usually every 2 to 3 years, they'll do a bigger bid, like they'll really market it out to many, many more places. So right now, we're using the same company. We did a full bid last year when we did this, so.
And it was about 100,000 last year? and
Yeah,
it's
it was
113.
103,990 last year. It's up to 113,323 this year. And talking to them, that was well within what he's seeing at pretty much all the other cities and everything that they're covering. And we're actually a little bit on the low side on that, so.
And- I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And we had some talk about whether we were going to get some liability insurance on technology, security type of losses. Is that included in this insurance policy?
Yes, the cyber insurance is included in here.
It is?
Yes, we do
Okay.
have cyber insurance, correct.
I think we got that a few years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, a couple of years ago or so, we started that, and we're continuing it, and they're making it more and more stringent to be able to get that insurance. You have to jump through many, many more hoops, so we're keeping current with all that stuff, but it is a struggle to get that insurance.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, we've used them for several years. haven't
Yes,
we?
we've used Love Insurance for quite a long time.
Okay.
To bid these out and stuff for us, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this? Hearing none, do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And we have a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And a motion to pass the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Wood? I'm sorry, Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
All right, that ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 2022-88.
A resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Portage County Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
And Mr. Huff, I'll throw this to you too.
This was discussed at committee, and it's an annual housekeeping item. It's just to meet our Ohio Revised Code requirements and the county audit requirements. We're certifying a total of $704,522 as our property tax revenue estimate for this year.
All right. there any questions from council on this? We just need a motion to pass this.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelsey?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Karas?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
All right, that is everything on first reading of ordinances. There's nothing on second or third reading of ordinances this evening. We will need an executive session, but before that, I think I'll let we've talked about Dora. I don't have anything to say except, Diane, keep us posted on when your event is. I think that's important, so I want to highlight that again, and what's going on at the Record Courier. And I'll leave it there. So, Mr. Harper, is there anything you'd like to say this evening?
Nothing else to add, thank you.
Ms. Michael?
Just thank you to everybody that put together such a nice Dora event. All of you that were part of it, including council and the chamber and Main Street and the businesses. Everyone did a great job, so thank you, it was fun.
Rob?
Just to piggyback on that, I think the thing that stood out to me was the collaboration. It's really nice to see our community organizations, Main Street Ravenna, the Chamber, standing there side by side as the ribbon was cut, both speaking to the event, and I think it says a lot. Sometimes we have these misconceptions about whether or not we work well together, and I think that was a clear indication how well you, the Chamber, and others work well together.
Paul? Mr. Roskin, excuse me?
Yes, I'm just going to make a comment pertaining to what I just heard. I am encouraged that those two organizations, Chamber and Main Street, are just gelling and meshing so good right now. That's it.
Mr. Calfee?
It's great to see projects getting completed around the city, and I'm really happy about Riddle being paved through Ward 4. It's great. It is really smooth. They did an excellent job. The sidewalk repairs that they did on that area and the restoration around the sidewalk repair, excellent. It's good to see those projects being done, and thanks to the residents of the city of Ravenna that passed the tax issue to help work on streets and sidewalks, and we're seeing some good progress with that.
Just really quickly on the Ravenna Rocks concert series, it's been nice to watch the growth of that and the group that put that together really make changes and organize. It's also been nice to see the community really come together. You know, a good presence from our police department as well as our fire department out there. So there's been some good community involvement as well down there too. So it's been really great to watch.
Ms. Wood?
I just want to say great job on all the events that the Chamber and Main Street have been putting on all summer long. I'm really excited to see how some of these events continue to grow. Also, speaking of big events, we have the Balloon Affair coming up, and they are asking for volunteers, 2-hour increments to man the gates. If anybody is interested, feel free to reach out to myself or the Balloon Affair board. They would love anybody that would be willing to help. And with that said, it's just nice to see some of the great cleanup that's going on downtown between our streets and the murals, and great things happening.
Bob?
Planning
Go right down the
Commission, Planning Commission is set to meet the 27th of this month at 6:30. And the one item on the agenda is medical marijuana proposal for North Chestnut Street. They also purchased the land to their north. That will be part of this proposal.
Was that the home?
Yes.
Interesting, okay.
The intent currently is to tear the house down for parking, because they don't have enough parking at that location. It is in a C1, commercial 1, but the way we wrote this ordinance years ago, medical marijuana sales is still, drew a blank, conditionally permitted.
yeah.
Still conditionally permitted. So, Planning Commission will hear it, and then a month later, we'll have a public hearing. If they choose to, they could vote on it in October, the end of October.
I saw them clearing out the house, so that was probably a couple months ago now. I mean, it's been a while. So
I think
that
they-
explains,
I believe they closed on it recently.
oh, okay. Maybe he was getting ready to sell it then. Okay, did they resolve any of those issues, whether or not to the south they were close enough to, I think it's Children's Advantage that's there?
That's,
I haven't heard,
that
but
wasn't part, I don't think that's a,
Within the state's guidelines.
yeah,
That's my
not a
question,
prohib-
is-
prohibition.
the first building close to Circle K is empty now. They moved up to Freedom Street.
So that is completely empty.
There's no cars in the parking lot, and
That was gonna be my other question, is if they,
They still have stuff going on out of Children's Advantage.
at the building to the south, correct?
Yeah, they have counseling there, but they moved some of their services to Freedom Street. So,
So, to my knowledge, it's a different type of rehab, but I haven't heard directly. So if you guys have questions, come to the meeting and ask them the
Absolutely.
questions.
Thank you.
and that, again, with Planning Commission, when was that?
The 27th, September 27th at 6:30.
Thanks.
It's a Tuesday.
All right, Mayor, turn it over to you.
Well, a few things to mention. As you're well aware, we've all been
Hey, Brian,
working.
can you hit your mic too, just to make sure that's on?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he's on.
All right. With the homeless, in an effort to, it's been more difficult this summer than it has been in the past, in working with this. At this point in time, I have a list that we compiled here of people who provide services to this group of folks that need this help. And I'm going to have a meeting with that group to discuss how we can improve our help to these folks. Our philosophy has always been that we recognize their rights if they are living here, they're Ravenna residents with that, and we will help them any way we can, and there are many agencies involved in this. But we also then have a right to expect behavior to reach a certain level on their part. And we were making some progress with that until this year, and I do not know why we have the influx that we have. There's a variety of reasons, and when we get these folks together, that's one of the things we're going to discuss. But our town is a little more sensitive to this than, say, Kent, because the bulk of it's right in the heart of town, where I guess that we were told that Kent had closed down the group that was on the river under the bridge, but I have heard since then that that's not accurate, that they are still there with that. I thought that was probably part of the reason we picked up some with that. But this is a problem we'll continue to work on. We are making progress with the businesses in the downtown area. The fact that we have these concerts that people are turning out to. I went into the wine store and with the idea of getting a drink after the Dora presentation, but I was going to be non-alcoholic. I never got to it. I ran into people and they started conversations. I ran into one couple I talked to for 20 minutes, and they were very excited about the changes in Ravenna and the crowds that are coming downtown. And they hadn't done this before. They came, the husband and wife that I've known for many, many years. And they just could not stop raving about what was going on with that. So we're doing a lot of the right things. We're doing it, and it works because we work together on that. So I just want to keep you up to date on that. I'll be sending letters out for invitations for these folks and get a meeting set so that we can get going on this. I just want to remind you that we intend to the water distribution project that will be on the agenda for the committee meetings next week. If there are any questions, as far as I know, we've had in writing, Kay put stuff together, and Brian has put stuff together along with cost, and that Chelsea has been pretty good about getting that out to council members. So if you have other questions that haven't been answered, please get a hold of us so that we can move this forward. I had a meeting along with the fire chief, Chief Chappell, with Colonel Meade from the Arsenal National Guard. Now, he is retired, but he's back as an employee, and he was a gentleman I dealt with a long time ago with this project. And we had a good conversation, and he tells me that there was a time that there were contracts between the National Guard and the city of Ravenna. He said, but somebody did some digging and looking around and found that there was legislation passed federally that they could not or would not be able to pay a city or a county for that service that was expected to be gratis. That was news to him. He did dig it out, and he called me and asked to have a meeting. I'll probably have one more with him down the line. Where we left it, we will continue to go out on the calls if there are injuries that require it. We have, the chief has enlisted backup with Rootstown and I believe Edinburgh as backups, and also Charleston. Actually, an injury isn't our biggest fear. Our biggest fear is a fire. Now, they have put some hydrants in out at the arsenal, but it depends on where you're at that point in time. Plus, we then need the help from these smaller communities because they have tankers and we do not. So we will need them there. If there's a fire, it's going to be an all call to go out there. But we're going to continue to follow up with this, but I can't promise you it's going to change. We may at some point have to make a decision. So far, I think we've had 3 or 4 calls out there during this year. But we need to do some back checking to see how much, and the chief was in the process of doing that, to see what kind of remuneration we got from their insurance on that. So I'll keep you posted on that. The last thing I'll tell you about is we had our first call for negotiations, and ASME is going to be meeting with us early in October, and we're going to be busy with doing negotiations. Remember, we have 5 unions, and we'll be very busy as we go through the fall season. My goal is to try and have them all in order by the first of the year. And we managed that last year except for one group, and they started later, and they bargained harder with that. But we will be starting that, so you can be aware. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. All right, do we have a motion to go into executive session pending litigation?
Pending, well, possible litigation and resolution potential.
Motion to go into executive session for possible litigation and whatever else he said, because I didn't hear it.
Well,
I'm trying.
let me say this to you. I mean, it's
I
to
did-
discuss potential resolution in relation to criminal charges that may have been discussed with the prosecutor's office, and civil litigation that results, that may result as a result of that decision by the prosecutor.
Is there one issue bundled together?
One individual.
Okay.
Executive session to discuss a
Let's
civil
go.
Eminent
litigation, legal
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Second.
All right, so Ms. West?
Yes.
Do you have a second?
Yes, I
Ms.
second.
Michael.
Ms. Michael? Mr. Pelkey?
Yes.
Mr. Muskin?
He stepped out.
Mr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And there's nothing else on the agenda.